if you have energy, your energy gets absorbed, a lot like electricity and water. Yeah, I think that'll really balance out infestors.
Oh man, this is gonna become StarCraft meets Pokemon.
Well, I mean,
now in the next expansion, we're gonna have like different types of Zerglings. We're gonna have a Fire Zergling.
Well, if you remember in the campaign, there were a few of the Terran missions in which the lava would flow up. Instead, they're just going to have water come up, and all the energy units that are in the water just get absorbed. But enough about that. We're going to start this game off. Spawning in the 3 o'clock position, we have the pink eyeshadow Protoss, Altrim, playing for the University of Texas, Arlington.
Woo! And spawning over in the bottom left position, we're going to have the green Zerg representing Purdue University, and his name is going to be Bobmoo.
Oh, it didn't zoom in. How did I screw this up again? There it is.
It's actually surprisingly hard to do that, so I don't blame you too much.
Oh, I don't think I had the names up here before, but it hasn't been a mirror match, so it shouldn't have been too difficult. Let's throw up the mini-map view, which is oh so much fun. And it looks like we do have a very fast Probe Scout on 9.
Yeah, and that Probe Scout is so much fun to do when you're a Protoss player because you get to do all kinds of super annoying things. Not only do you get to scout for a 6 pool, which, don't get me wrong, is always fun to see, but you also get to block the natural expansion of the Zerg player, and just causing that pain to a Zerg player is one of my few favorite things in the world.
Well, that's really interesting. Bobmoo sent out this drone on 12, but he's using it to scout, and this probe originally thought that he was going to take this expansion, but Bobmoo does drop the spawning pool on, I think it was 14. So that's very interesting. Bobmoo does favor spawning pool first openings. He just feels a lot more comfortable. I know usually in this matchup particularly that going hatch first is much more popular. But there are some players like July that still likes to do spawning pool first, and Bobmoo has that same mindset, I think, when he looks at this matchup. It's very traditional.
And yeah, we actually do see that pylon going down from Altrim, and that's going to, again, block the natural expansion of Bobmoo from going down until he gets those Zerglings out. So just delaying Bobmoo from really getting out that economic advantage, forcing him to make Zerglings that he probably doesn't want to make. He'd rather be making a lot more drones.
Oh no, Bobmoo forgot an Overlord, so he's going to get these supply blocks. He does do an extractor trick, but he has forgotten that Overlord. I'm wondering if his build needed him to sacrifice this drone to not get supply blocked, or if he just forgot it under that pressure which we talked about. And we have a lot of energy being stored up on this Nexus. Are you kidding me? Tell me about this PVZ build of having this much energy and 2 gas.
Well, this is actually a little bit interesting. We might be seeing a huge amount of sentry pressure. You know, the last time I've seen a build that looked like this was back when OGSMC, who's now SKMC, played against StarTale July in one of the GSL finals, and he just made a lot of sentries, made I think 5... He made 5 gateways, made a Nexus, canceled the Nexus, and then did a huge push. And it was very hard to scout for. So I don't know if we'll be seeing that out of Altrim, as he was chrono boosting out both a Stalker and a Zealot, and now it looks like he's going to try and put on a little bit of pressure with the Stalker, but not using that chrono boost on your probes.
But he has been getting supply blocked and lost some of that chrono boost because of it. So both these players are feeling that pressure of the CSL. I mean, Altrim has a lot to prove following his compatriot who got the first win, and Bobmoo has a lot to prove to say that, hey, Purdue's still in this, you know, don't take us too lightly.
And we do see 1 gateway going down. Can we get a second gateway? No, it actually looks like he's gonna Altrim is gonna put a pylon on the low ground if this probe can never get past the Zealot.
Having a little technical difficulties. That's really weird. He tried to mineral walk it. Oh no, did he just miss it?
I think he just barely missed that. Oh no, and this is
this is the money Zergling. Yeah, are you gonna yell at me for that big win?
Yeah, that probe definitely needs its AI written, as it was having quite a bit of issues navigating around things.
Yeah.
So that That's actually a really annoying thing, and especially
God.
as we were talking about, the pressure does get to these players in this like very competitive tournament environment. So, having even a small thing like that, losing that probe that you really didn't want to lose.
Hold that thought. We do have 19 Zerglings right outside the the Protoss' base, and a few poke in. They say, "Hey, I can take this." There's no sentries there. A few Zerglings actually stop the ramp, but that is a really good placement. A cancel on the Nexus goes down, and Bobmoo says, "Haha, I made you cancel."
I've played a lot of games with Bobmoo, and he definitely does love this style of making a lot of Zerglings very early on against a Protoss player who does try to go for those gateway expand style. And he says, you know what, if you want to try and make an expansion after going for gateways, I'm just going to make a bunch of Zerglings, and if you don't cancel it, I'm going to kill off all of your sentries, because if you mess up even just a little bit, you're going to lose the game. So, props to Altrim for getting that very clutch block on the ramp, but he's going to have to be very careful against these Zerglings. He will have those sentries to force field if he needs to, but he really doesn't want to be using that force field energy on, saving these, stopping the Zerglings from killing off this expansion again. He wants to save that energy for when he does decide to put on a little bit of pressure.
Yeah, and it looks like Bobmoo is taking a little defensive stance, which I think is a little, almost too much, in my opinion. He threw down 2 spines and a spore crawler after he scouted the 3 stalkers and 1 zealot. I know he may have been a little bit afraid of either a Void Ray push or a Dark Templar play on one base, but just based on what he scouted with the Lings, I don't think that was the proper response. I would have much rather him see either getting a tech or taking a 3rd very quickly, but I do see he's getting the lair, and it looks like he will be transitioning to Roach, as missile attacks are now 50% complete.
Oh, poor Bobmoo. Actually, this Overlord is just going to barely miss that Twilight Council as he tries to go in, and the Stalkers eventually end up picking it off. So he's going to completely miss the fact that Blink is almost done researching. So looks like it's going to be a big Blink Stalker play, but he might have a second chance if he does manage to see the high Stalker count.
And right now we have 13 Zerglings to the 5 Stalkers and 1 Zealot, and we'll just get a gateway count really quick. We have 3, 4, and it looks like 3 more, so we're going up to a 7-gate 2-base push of Blink Stalkers. So Bobmoo has to be ready. So these spines will be a huge help, but what Bobmoo really needs is to start pumping out these roaches, and we do have our first wave. It looks like only just a few of them, 7 are out right now, but we're going to need a lot more to hold off this heavy aggressive +1 blink timing.
And Bobmoo getting that Galilial reconstitution that does make your roaches move just a little bit faster. A very important upgrade, especially against those Protoss force fields. You want to be able to nuzzle up against the Protoss army to really be effective and pick off all those sentries, and make sure that the Stalkers who are blinking back do not get quite as far away as they might like, and they not really giving them the chance to recharge those shields. But the Stalkers are going to move out
from the watchtower, so Bobmoo knows something's up. It looks like they're beelining straight for the 3rd, but unfortunately, the 3rd just finished, but there's no drones here, so it's going to be a small loss for Bob. And Bob should just probably let this die, rather than getting choked at this really awkward point and having these sentries just wall it off. We do have more roaches underway. Oh, a bunch of roaches underway. 7 more being complete. So it looks like the Spartan Lava just kicked in. And it looks like Altrim is committing to this. Bobmoo does have a 40 supply lead, so it is going to come down to a little bit of more. Oh! The force fields are a big whiff.
Oh, really? Not the greatest force fields, exactly as you were saying. Whiffed kind of a lot, and actually delaying the push from Altrim a little bit, giving Bobmoo the time to nuzzle up against this army. Oh my god, he has a great surround, and all the Stalkers blink back, but it doesn't matter. The Roach is going to pick up all the sentries. And, oh, wow.
That is a huge win. Bobmoo now has still a 40 supply lead. All these Stalkers now have 0 sentry support, and that's what you really need versus a Roach Stalker army. And actually, it looks like +2 is going to kick in a little bit for the Protoss player because of the Chrono Boost, but these Roaches are snuggling up, just as you said, and there's no force fields to keep them away. And the longer this goes on, Bobmoo should have the lead here.
Yeah, I have to say, if you go to the unit counting station, we can actually see Bobmoo's up at about 48 drones to 31 probes. So, all Bobmoo has to do is focus on pushing this back, and he's doing a wonderful job of doing that. He has a lot more roaches than there are stalkers, and I mean a lot more. And these stalkers are going to get away with the use of that blink. But, Altrim, is going to have to make something happen, as Bobmoo actually has already retaken a third, which is already up, and soon we'll have drones at it.
Yes, and Bobmoo does scout with one of his patrolling Zerglings, which was preventing this base from getting done. And Bobmoo does have a Zergling here to prevent this. I would really like to see burrow upgrade happen, for him to be able to not only burrow these roaches to accumulate health a lot quicker, but also to start burrowing Zerglings at each of the bases, so to force Altrim to get that robotics bay and to get observers to be able to take a third, and that can be really annoying, especially when Bobmoo knows that he's gone Blink Stalker to base timing. I'm really surprised Bobmoo hasn't been scouting for a proxy pylon, as he kept seeing more and more Stalkers get reinforced from this area. So that I do think is a little curious, but I think he just has a few other things on his mind. Almost with a 60 supply lead right now, and all these overlords are now just snuggling up on this extractor.
Yeah, and actually Bobmoo has already started that pathogen glands at his infestation pit. So I would be expecting some infestors to be popping pretty soon. Usually you want to start that pathogen gland.
And Altrim is approaching. We only have 2 sentries with this army. Bobmoo wasn't paying attention, but is able to break in. Those sentries do absolutely nothing with his force fields, and Bobmoo should be able to crush this Stalker army right here and now.
I don't know about that. No. I think there's quite a few Stalkers left over, and with use of Blink Micro, he might be able to do a little bit more damage, but no, actually it looks like Bobmoo able to push that back.
Yeah, and the biggest thing right now, we do have +2 and +2 for both players, but Bobmoo almost has the armor upgrade.
Ooh, some Zealot harassment at the 4th base of Bobmoo in the old 3rd base.
Yes, and I have that right now on camera. One little Zergling is picking off one of the Zerglings, and if these roaches scuttle their little hearts out, they will be able to save it, as they're now one-shotting these Zealots, and it looks like we're going to have...
I meant there was a Zealot harass at Bobmoo's base, and, they target fired down the hatchery, weren't quite able to get it. Yep. Still 375 health left on that.
Exactly. A lot of Chrono Boost is still being saved up. It looks like Altrim doesn't know exactly what to spend it on, and now we almost have a, about an 80 supply lead, almost 90 supply lead for Bobmoo. So Bobmoo is going to start doing very aggressive plays, and of course, there we have it, the Dark Shrine. Where did he throw it down? Right there.
It's underneath his natural assimilator, and the Dark Shrine, very, very great tool for every Protoss, especially when you're in a bind. I have to say, whenever I'm losing a game, I throw down a Dark Shrine, and just magical things can happen. So we'll have to see if Altrim can make those magical things happen. And
but we have 4 infestors, and he's going to be able to pick off this 3rd base with almost no problem. And with Fungals being able to be thrown down, there is no such thing as Blink Micro. But it looks like there is no engagement just yet. And now we have, it was a 100 supply lead at one point, but it looks like a warping came in. And now Immortals are coming out on the field from the 1 robotics bay, which is also at his natural. All his tech structures of Altrim are at his natural, which is very curious.
Yeah, one thing I have to say about Altrim's play right now is that I'm very surprised he doesn't have, actually hold that thought, there's an engagement going on in a lot of force fields, actually pretty good force fields that are blocking off a lot of these roaches from coming in, but it doesn't matter, there's too many roaches, and they managed to walk around the force fields. The fungal growth stopped the Stalkers from actually blinking away, and it looks like Bobmoo's going to march straight in.
The DTs all get fungled by 1 fungal growth, and then that is that. Oh, wow, that was just a money. It was just like, wait, did I just hear a DT smack my roach? Fungal? And then that was it.